Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Maul or Nothing with Ryan, Max, Jonathan Joseph and Zach Mercer.
Maul or Nothing.
Hello and welcome to this week's episode of Maul or Nothing with Ryan and Max as always, and we are delighted to be joined by Zach Mercer and Jonathan Joseph. Worth adding that, where are we? It's a kind of normal abode as usual. The most luxurious hotel in London, the Mandarin Oriental.
How swanky, eh, boys?
Oh, beautiful.
Very posh, very posh.
This is literally this podcast it just fits.
Luxury
Max in the vest.
and good taste. That's what people associate with the Maul or Nothing show. And speaking of those finer things in life, as Ryan is bringing up, it is, wow, our wonderful sponsors for this episode, Pol Roger Champagne, in their 175th year. It's their anniversary this year. And a family-owned brand, of course. And they had a rather famous person whose favourite tipple was Pol Roger. Anyone know?
Winston
Churchill.
Yeah.
There we go, Sir Winston Churchill. They served it at the wedding of Prince William and Kate Middleton as well, and is obviously the favourite brand of Maul or Nothing for all things champagne, as Ryan attempts to not cause any sort of damage that will cost this show probably its lifeline.
Well, boys, seeing that you're in the bar, there's only one thing we should be drinking. Jesus.
Yay! A huge thank you to Pol Roger. There we go. Serve all the boys up. But yeah, fellas,
Champagne.
first heading into a Barbarians week. You've already had one night. How are we feeling?
Is this going to help you? Because you boys don't seem as dusty as I did.
Really?
Thanks, mate.
Yeah, I was in a bad way.
I'm
I
in a
think
big
you
way.
hide it well.
I think I'm, disguising it very well. He went home early, as per usual.
It's sad.
Didn't you? You did. You
It wasn't
did.
early. Definition of early, mate.
One.
Yeah, half one. No, it was like... cheers, mate.
Thank you.
There was like two crowds. It was like... It's fair, the older guys stayed out longer than the younger guys.
It's a
think it was,
generational thing.
we
It's a
obviously had-
generational thing.
I think, yeah, we obviously had like Danny Kerr and the older kind of heads decided actually we'll stay out a little bit longer, and yeah, I think that's why it takes JJ a bit longer to recover. He's a bit older now, so.
Are you same age as me? Are you younger?
Yeah, younger, I think, yeah.
34?
No, 2 years. 33.
Oh, fine,
We keep having to update your Wikipedia page. Just stay
Bring it down.
32 and then the contract's covered. All right?
JJ, you mate, after being in France for a year now, you must
He's old now.
be used to drinking this stuff.
Yeah, all the time. Not much training, just a lot of drinking. Seems to be the norm.
First time in the bars for you.
First time, yeah.
Did the first night live up to expectations?
Yes. I regret it today, obviously, but you have to get back on the horse, so to speak. But yeah, it was a good night. Where do we even start? We just started eating, and this relentless amount of beer was just getting passed around, and then before you know it, we're in Cirque and it's 3 a.m. and right, time to go home. Lads, we've got training at 8, so don't.
But training is not training.
Yeah,
though.
well,
Training
to be
is
To be
training.
fair, we had to drive an hour this morning on
How
the bus.
bad is the drive?
Oh, no, we didn't train at the normal place. We're bloody out in Mill Hill, which is credit to them, obviously, if they're watching. Great place. But mate, listen to this. Took an hour to get there. The training session must have been half an hour. Yeah. And then the bus driver just fucked off. So the bus driver was like, we just drop off and then didn't have to come back. So we had to get the school minibuses back to the hotel. So there's 2 minibuses. You've got Sam Whitelock, a big tall fella sat in the seat like that. It was carnage.
That's what the barbers is about, though. Like it's not professional.
No, it's
clearly from the first night. It's not. It's almost going back to like club rugby, isn't it? Like back in the days when you were kids, the amateur days. It's pretty special. Is it what you thought it'd be like in terms of training? Like what was it? A walkthrough? Pretty much.
Well, to be fair, what did he say? He said, lads, training session will be as long as a game. So straight away, that's 80 minutes, and everyone's looking at each other in the room like, 80 minutes? Rugby training?
Ball and play.
Yeah, but it was very light. It was like, a bit of a walkthrough, forwards did a bit of session, came back together, just a big piss around really. But yeah, no, it wasn't. It was pretty.
What's the dingo like? Good lad? Deans.
Is this his nickname? Dingo. You got to
Dingo Deeds.
Yeah.
Is it?
There you go.
I don't know why, because he's a Kiwi.
Yeah, I know. Weird, isn't it? Yeah.
Why do they call
I'll
him
ask you.
Dingo?
I'll ask you.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I'll go in there when we go back and call Dingo and see what he says.
Oh, yeah, dingo. Must have a big dingo. At home, he must have a big dingo.
Stop looking at me for help in this.
I don't know. I'm not looking at you for a big dingo, am I? I mean, we've just laughed about the old.
Remember, it's the other way around. It's Chinese Welsh.
In any case, we'll go on to a few more Barbarians things, but let's head up the elephant in the room. Is the fact that you guys all played at Bath together. Talk us through Max Lahiff. What is he like? Is he ever there on time? Is he even there?
No, the amount of times he was late. But the worst time, there were so many. Like,
What was the worst?
the worst time. I'll tell you the worst time. The worst time, we had to vouch for him in this one. So I think it was for us to play Champions Cup the year
Yes,
after.
it was. Yeah.
And we were like 6th, 7th, and it was a really big game. We had to win this game.
away.
We had to win this game, and we had no tight heads. Like, who was the other tight head? I swear he was like
Sam Nixon.
No.
Was it Jacques going in for me?
Big Jack.
I don't think it was. No.
Darryl.
Can't remember who it was, but I'm pretty sure the other tight head literally was like walking on one leg, like he was cooked, like he couldn't play. And so Max misses the meeting in the morning, like just doesn't rock up. And it's like, not again, Max. Like, you've had so many warnings. Like, please, like, this is like the biggest week. Like,
And hold on, by the way, you're in Bath, which, by the way, the world's smallest town.
oh yeah, there was no
so
traffic.
It ain't like,
He just missed his alarm.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
we sat there, and Todd's fuming. He's like, right, well, this is like the team's going to change now, and we would like our scrum is going to go backwards. Like, we need Max to play in this. So like a few of the senior players literally went to Todd and went, we wouldn't ever do this. We usually would trust you 100%, but we need Max to play. And he was like, he was like, I really don't think he should. And we vouched for him and got him to play. I don't even know if we won the game or not, but
we did. We won.
Did we win?
Sounds like Pat. Sounds like Pat.
Me and Toddy had a weird relationship.
Yeah, no
Because I
shit.
really liked him.
such a nice bloke.
Yeah, such a good lad.
Such a nice bloke.
But he also was like, you wasted playing rugby. I was like, oh God. You should retire. I was like, oh God. Had some weird dad talks with him. Yeah, like behind the scenes, he'd like pull me aside and be like,
what do you want you to do?
He was worried about my mental health all the time.
Really?
I was going through some weird stuff at home. I had some weird stuff going on, personal problems.
Was that when you took up the rope swinging?
No, that was well after
Just
that.
like ready.
Yeah. But yeah, that was a perplex.
It's nice of him, though,
No
right, to be careful.
No, he was a
really
He
good
was one of the best
person.
man managers.
wasn't he? Amazing.
It wasn't a great. I'll be honest. Like, he wasn't a great coach.
Tabba was a
Yeah,
coach.
but Tabs worked
for
for him.
yourself.
Tabs was his coach, whereas Todd looked after any other issues.
He's
So
very
he's got a lot.
compassionate
I've got a
man.
lot of time.
That's
for
what I think the best coaches are.
he's
The
a
people
good
that are
bloke.
best man managers, like they look after the boys and then leave the rest of the coaches to
Yeah,
coach.
the balance, yeah.
Do what they do.
Yeah, that was probably
sometimes
the
you
worst
get coaches that get too involved that try and
Yeah.
and you're like, you're not really good at that, but you're good at.
Remember, he
dealing
used to
with
like
the boys.
actually put his boots on and play.
Mate, he
Mate,
joined into the
in
sessions
training,
fully.
he put his boots on, and he'd been on live line-up Mauls, and he's in
He'd
there.
be running into
Your
him.
old man used to do that. Your old man used to slap the old shoulders and give it the old, run it, Ming, boys. Come on.
It must be a Kiwi thing, isn't it?
Shit, this guy has lost the plot. And he used to always go, bit of spank. Here you go, bit of spank. And we were like, Ming, rein it in. His old man, imagine this, a young 19-year-old Ryan Wilson going to his first Scotland tour, under 20s World Cup in Japan, and you rock up, it's John Jeffries, who was loose as they come anyway, and like fucking loose as they come, and his old man, and there was Peter Wright and Eamon John, I think it was, and Craig Chalmers. But that's like a stag do already. throw like 35, 19-year-olds into it. I wouldn't be sending my kids on that tour. I'll tell you that. But that is where I realised I picked the right group because it was a good under-20s tour. England, they got knocked out they lost the final against New Zealand, and they were on the same flight back as us. And JJ was like, boys, none of you are my problem anymore. Drink as much as you want. We're fucking blind drunk. All the England boys at the back like sobbing and like no one's allowed to touch a drop of drink. And I looked back, I was like, yeah, Scotland's the way forward. Scotland's the way forward. Oh, Ming, good old man. How is he, all right?
He's all good, mate. All good, yeah. Working at a private school now, enjoying life, and
And
Yeah.
say no more.
yeah.
Say no more.
Fair play. Right, let's get back to Barbarians. We've sort of touched upon Max's time at Bath, but your first time, not your first time. How do we feel? There's some new people coming in as well, flying in straight from France as well. Good kind of squad gel, do we think?
I think so. The boys are all really. I think in most rugby environments, all the lads are really sound. I haven't really ever gone into a team where I've been like, "Oh, it's clicky," or straight away. I mean, when there's alcohol involved as well, it's just everyone just go, have fun, and yeah, it's been great so far. I think.
No, it has. There's a good group of players. Like when I did it last time, it was French, so we had like French players. So obviously, it was slightly different. Don't get me wrong, the Frenchies are loose, and they are carnage. But obviously, the communication's not as there, or whatever. But now it's like. Everyone can speak English.
They haven't got the same crack, have they? The
yeah.
No, they haven't. We've heard about Sinks. We've heard about Sinks and Ben Youngs. Like they've been leading the charge. Danny Kerr.
Yeah, the older fellas lead the charge, whereas me, the young, well, not younger, but anyway, we just kind of follow. But yeah, no, it's good fun and it's a great team to be part of.
JJ, you must be buzzing. Also playing the centres with Gal Fiku, who's awesome.
Great player.
That is a smooth partnership in the centre, isn't it?
Yeah, we were speculating who's going to outsmooth who.
Outsmooth each other. Because he's not here yet, is he?
He's not here. He's rocking up. But even V, like, there's loads of boys that I'm excited to play with, and yeah, I think it'll be likely, well, definitely, like last time running out of Twickenham. I just think, what a way to do it. Barbarians week.
You mentioned V, Virumi Vakatawa.
Yeah.
Have you ever played with him?
Played against both of those players. Never played with them, obviously, and they're both they were class to play against. Like we had some good battles.
And because any other sport, we were talking with Scott Seo earlier. Like in other sport, you don't get that. You don't get to play against players. Like you go head to head against them, and then suddenly you're playing in pretty much an international match against the Fijians with them. Like, how cool is that?
Yeah, no, I'm buzzing for it. Like, really.
But the Tavingu Virimi took it a bit too far. He's been in his bed all day, has he?
He's been in his bed all day, recovering.
He does send it, to be fair.
They can't handle it though.
Well, it's funny, I haven't met many Fijians that drink. So when he actually started to drink, it was like, oh,
yeah,
he drinks.
JJ's met a few.
There's a fair few I haven't met.
I know. Yeah, well, we'll know where we're going with this in a minute. Let's get there in a minute. But that's it. A lot of them drink grog.
Yeah.
So they're on the carver. But the problem with the Fijians, once they start,
they can't stop.
But by the sounds of it, he's knocked it on the head.
Oh yeah, he's pretty. He's very he's pretty sensible with it. Like he's not one of those Fijians that can get angry and get scary. He's one of those like.
So on day one, mate. Like
I'll just stay away from him. I think the rest of the week I'll just stay away from him.
Oh, I'm so jealous, aren't you, Max? Wait, by the way, we've got to get this boy in there. Like we get the uncapped players in.
Yeah.
Please.
Usually Barbarians have like an element of like skill set and things like
that. Killed him, murdered him live.
I told you.
That is what we want. Just for the top off. Just for the
just for the shot.
That time when your shirt got ripped in that game and you just ripped that.
You had a crack up there.
I remember running over to you just being like, that's sick. You look so good.
God, that was Bartley Bristol. Yeah. Great times. Actually,
wait, was he like that at Bath? Was he still completely like abs made in the laboratory?
Yeah, he was like that since he was like 15 years old.
It's weird. Yeah, you think he'd eat really. Like, we lived together for a long time. You think he'd eat really clean. He doesn't eat that clean, and he's just like.
I was head chef at the house. Me, Jay, and Kieran Lowe. Great times.
When he had that like shaggy hair, do you remember?
Yes. Yeah. That wasn't great, was it? Looking back now.
Wasn't the best.
No, it wasn't. You still did all right there, didn't you?
Yeah, it was not. Yeah, it wasn't terrible. It wasn't completely barren. Yeah.
What was childlike Max Lahiff?
You know his traits. It was just like 100 times
exaggerated.
Worse. Yeah, it was exaggerated.
Don't need to jump in.
Yeah, that's the best way to describe him. Really, really frustrating friend to have, but really great at the same time. It was weird. You couldn't hate him. You couldn't hate him because he was so lovable and he didn't mean to do anything wrong, but he was always doing stuff wrong.
Yeah.
For the whole year, he was. Do you know what this was annoying?
This is unbelievable.
My house, I owned the house and he was renting off me, and he wasn't that much that I wanted a month, but he was like a month behind on rent for some reason, and it was just like continuing. I was like, "Are you going to get me the lump sum?" I find out like a year later, this was going on for ages, we lived together for ages, found out like a year later that he's saving like loads of money on the side. I'm like, Max, you owe me this money. Like, what? Like, you're saving on the side. Like, how is that fair?
What friends for? What friends for?
I was like, it's just snaky.
That is, you've hit the nail on the head. Like, so frustrating. You can't help but love him, but he can drive you around the fucking bend. His communication skills are up there with the worst I've ever.
It's terrible, isn't it?
But on air, fabulous, and then suddenly, but message-wise.
I like in the week.
He's
I
down
said to him,
there.
his poor missus. I said, I don't know how she deals with you.
Does she manage you?
She helps. Yeah.
But it would be better for me to have a direct line to Loz than him
100%.
because organising
Just
shit.
with everything.
This morning, so we were meant to be here today. Just let's go. And organised lots of shit. We were meant to potentially play golf, and he went, "Sorry, boys, I think I've got a vaccine this morning." Excuse me, I'm going to Senegal. I need to get an injection, so I can't make it. And I'm like, what the fuck? Look where we are. Look what we planned. Look who's sponsoring. No, Max, can't do this. No, sorry, boys. I really
But I came through. It's fine.
He came through, and he was stressed, but. And the man's been on a stag do as well. So
yeah, he does rock up when you need him. Yeah. I remember that time I just went up to Manchester and we had a week off and I was like, do you want to come? Great. Next, like four hours later, he just rocks up. I'm like, that's
we
class.
had like a road trip through the Midlands. It was very special, and the north.
Oh yeah,
we love him.
Don't need to get into that.
Don't need to get into that.
But he shows up.
He does.
Yeah.
He does. He does show up.
I did say, come on.
He'll be
before we move on, I just want to go back to that Bath. Like, so were you in like the academy at Bath?
Yeah, these two.
These two are bullying you.
I just kind of, I was quite quiet.
Yeah, you were super quiet.
Yeah, I just kind of kept myself to myself.
What was he like?
Oh, he used to bully me. him and
a harsh term, isn't it?
Him and Anthony Watson used to just give me a hard time.
Carl Eastman, George Ford, JJ.
Yeah, it was.
They were the golden children.
It was.
They
were.
They could do no wrong. Mike Ford.
Yeah, Fordy loved it.
To be fair, that way.
You weren't the right. You weren't the right though. Big seasons, but it was funny.
Yeah.
Head down for me. It was head down.
Head down.
Until I started playing, then it was.
I was probably a bit nasty to you at the start.
A little bit, probably. Yeah, just a little bit, mate.
Him and Carl Eastman cracked the whip as well.
Yeah,
he loved flying into boys.
I just accepted it. You know, I was a young lad coming through.
This is good for me.
I like the people that were in amongst it as well. Like Dave Denton was there as well.
Yeah.
Oh,
what's his nickname?
The Pencil.
No, I thought it was Penis Hands.
The dentist.
No. Dildo Dave.
Dildo Dave.
No.
Just weird where the head goes, but whatever.
Dick in the mind. Yeah. No, Pencil. We were because he was long and thin. Very long and thin.
What a great bloke.
Had a penis like a pencil. But
spell it out. Right, draw it.
Might as well. But that must have been awesome, like all being together. And I just think when you introduce someone like Niko Matawalu into that, because you talk about
JJ and Anthony.
You talk about how he was and how they were two people that destroyed a man.
So pure.
So pure. Like, came to Glasgow, kissing babies on the head. Like, turned up with his little carrier bag with his bula shirt, his Sulu. And I like sort of looked after him and I didn't want to change him. And then came the day where he signed for Bath. And I was like, Nix, that's so good. Yeah, I can't wait. And next minute, I've got Niko. I go to the casino. It's so easy.
How good is impressive?
It's just, I win all the time.
Spot on.
And I'm like, what? These boys have ruined him. Destroyed him as a human being.
Actually, yeah, I will cop a lot of that. I thought he was stronger. But it was the maddest thing though. Like, I was like, right, Niko, like, we're going to casino, like, just have a little flutter. He couldn't lose. Like, his first 3 weeks, it was just crazy. Like, he was making so much money. I'm talking, he was doing a blackjack bet, quite a big amount. And he'd be like, oh, wait, and I can't do it. And he'd run off to the roulette and just throw some chips down, on some numbers. And he'd be like, oh, yeah, won that one, come back to blackjack table, hit on 17. It would come in, 21. I was like, this is crazy. It was crazy to watch. I reckon he made about 10, 15 grand in a few weeks. And that's the worst thing for him.
And then I was seeing him, he came back in the basketball jerseys, a little bit of bling. He was like, I'm going to get the Maserati.
Yeah, that was the funniest. But Anthony Watson got a real cheap Maserati deal. And next thing you know, I just see Niko, I'm just going to buy one. Rocks up with a Maserati. Like, Niko, what are you doing with your money?
Oh
Like,
man, I was like, what have they done to him? What has happened to my Taringu? Niko Matawalu? Like properly, like village boy. He turned into I used to say, oh, you're like a gangster now. Eh? No, I'm not doing that. Oh mate, it was so funny to see the change of the man in just like that. He was told he was only allowed to run after he passed the ball a certain amount of times as well when he was down there, right?
I'm pretty sure Mike Board would would lose his rag and just be like, give the ball to George. Like, stop doing whatever you're doing, just give it to George. Just give it to George.
He played 9, he was 9, he played a bit of 15, he played on the wing
Played
at
on the wing,
Glasgow.
yeah.
But he used to, like, it'd be the end of the game and we would have won, but he'd dummy and go from our own, like, 5 metre line, and we were like, no, Niko! And off he went in his score, and they loved him. He was the Ouija from Fiji.
As far as, like, raw talent goes, he is probably one of the best players I've ever seen. I remember doing, like, walking touch, and he would, like, be like, he just steps someone, and he just, like, he's so, like,
Freaky athlete
freak
as well.
of an athlete.
We used to use them for tackle practice, and me and Callum Gibbons were like, right, we're going to do some tackle practice after, and Nick's about, oh, I'll carry for you. And we were like, okay. And it was weird. Like, it was,
So
he was
strong.
like, I just, what's your shoulder? And then you go, I go like this. And he would do it and step us, and we would be like diamonds in thin hair. And he would be laughing his head off. And the coach was there, and we were like, and I'd be like, Nick, fucking stop it, man. Like, what are you doing? He'd be like, no, calm down, it's okay, baby. And I was like, no, fucking let me hit you. And, he's like, and he would, he'd just like shift his hip, oh, sorry, baby. Oh man, like unbelievable. We managed to, that was the biggest signing Dave Rennie had ever made, because Dave Rennie came into Glasgow and I went, if you want to be the best coach ever, you bring Niko back. And he was like, oh yeah, really, mate? I was here, bring him back to the club. He's like, oh, okay, fuck. Called him up. Niko came to visit. Anyway, he'd obviously enjoyed a few beers and stuff and got in a bit of trouble at his next club. So Dave got him up, and Dave had a meeting with him, great. Went to the airport, and me and Dave were flying out to do a European Cup thing, and Niko was in the airport with us, and I was like, we were flying to Ireland, and Niko was flying back to Wales, and Dave was like, oh, Niko, come over, and Niko came and sat with us, and I thought, I'm going to test Dave out. It was the first time he was my coach, so I was like, I'm going to see if he wants a beer. I was like, fancy a beer? Oh, yeah, fucking mate, why not? And I was like, oh, good. Nick, do you want a beer? And Nick's like, yeah, I'll have a beer. And Dave looked at him and was like, you should fucking tell me you don't drink anymore. And Niko went, sorry. And so Niko had been in a meeting with Dave Rennie for like an hour and went, I don't drink anymore, I don't do this. And then first test, I went, Nick, do you want a beer? He went, yeah, I'll have a beer. And Dave was like, you fucking liar. But Renz was like, nah, fuck it, we'll get him. And they got the Ouija from Fiji back, and Glasgow loved Dave. What a man! What a man!
Let's bring the boys back into and chat a little bit. We've got two different aspects of talking about your England lifeline. You've obviously had a huge amount of success, and Zach's got a lot more success to come.
That's very kind of you, mate. I appreciate that.
What do you reckon to that statement?
No comment. Just pretend you say it. Yeah, good.
Yeah.
Let's start on JJ. Let's start on JJ.
Amazing journey with England. What's been the highlight for you?
Ooh, it's quite a lot. I don't know. It's the whole time spent with England. Like, there's obviously ups and downs and bench, start and things like that. But as a whole, it was just such an amazing experience. And one, I think now, like, knowing that international career's done, you look back on it and you're very grateful for that opportunity. And, you know, not many people get to do what we do and play at the highest level. And fortunately, I was, you know, part of an England team that was really successful, got to a World Cup final, you know, Grand Slam, Six Nation titles. Oh, it was, you know, best time of my life.
2018 Calcutta Cup.
You had that's brilliant. Bring that in. But let's talk. I want JJ to say, you had a season where, in the Six Nations, it felt like every time you got the ball, you were going to score.
Yeah, I had some, without, like, I know people say this all the time, but I had some great players, and a lot of my tries were off the back of what players inside me did. Like, yes, I finished them or what have you, but I had some unbelievable playmakers inside me and boys that could get us on the front foot. So,
like who?
George, Faz, Billy back in the day just was unstoppable. Like Billy Vanapola, like the way he could get us on the front foot.
The taser, we call it.
And then playing off the back of that was just a joy, you know. Yeah, it was great. It was great fun.
Zach, without a doubt, yours is the most. If you go across, if you bother to ever spend any time on social media, but any time you don't feature for England, there's a huge uproar. How do you deal with that? How do you feel about that?
Oh yeah, obviously it's tough to take. I mean, I kind of came out opening an article not that long ago, and it was like I'm done with England, but it wasn't like I was done because I don't want to play for England anymore. I do. I've still got massive aspirations to do that. It was like I had to remove myself from the situation, so it didn't constantly keep affecting me. It was like constantly getting knocked back all the time. It was just like, do you know what? Like, obviously I moved over from France to fight for that England jersey, and I didn't really get given an opportunity is what I thought. Like I got given 3 weeks and that was it. Like I'm not saying I'm entitled to get an opportunity, but I would have liked longer than 3 weeks, for example. And don't get me wrong, like Benno's playing outstanding rugby at the moment. Like there's some unbelievable eights in England that I'm not expected just to walk in there. But I do think I will get time to prove myself again. It's just now like buying the time, which obviously is frustrating. But I had the conversation with Danny Kerr earlier. He was like, I play in these games because obviously it's an amazing week, but for me, I'm doing it because I'm not playing international. For me, it's another stage that I can try and perform. Whereas like JJ, for example, like he's done it, he's been there, he's fucking played at the highest level. Like for me, it's like I want to do it to try and put my name in the shop window again and to test myself, because obviously I don't get to play international week in, week out.
After your few seasons in France, where you tore it up in Montpellier, were you player of the season, top 14?
Yeah, top 14.
So then came back to Gloucester, and obviously your ambitions were to play for England. And so everyone on the outside looking at that and going, well, he's tore it up in the top 14. Arguably one of the best leagues in the world, with some of the best players in the world. Okay, he's coming over and he's going to fit into the England squad. And then it didn't quite happen like that, did it?
No, obviously, like there was a lot of things happen. Like when I agreed to come back, Eddie was obviously in charge. And then obviously Steve took over. So, but like, I think I regret being so open about the reasons why I was coming home, because like I was telling everyone I was coming back to play for England, like that's what I wanted to do. And then obviously it didn't happen. It just kind of made yourself look a bit like, all right, okay. But for me, it's like, I do look at it on another hand, like I've got an 11-month-old baby, and could I imagine having like a child in France? Probably not. It would have been very tough with no family around. So for every cloud, obviously, but I've still got that ambition to play for England. But it's just like, now I'm just like, I want it to happen now, but obviously I can't do that right now. So
Had you spoken to Eddie? Had you spoken to Eddie about
Yeah.
it?
So Eddie tried to get me back to England after half a season in France. He wanted to take me on the tour to Australia, but I was like, no, mate, I want to be here. I want to experience this.
We saw your pool, by the way, when you had this show.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, like don't get me wrong, France is an unbelievable place. But I was like, I'm not ready to come home yet. And obviously then he's like, for the World Cup, he's like, come home, like I want you to be part of the squad and the plans. And obviously then that changed. So
You mentioned the pool in France. Should we go on to Biarritz? Because you moved over there recently. I know it's been tough transition, but what is
especially when Zach went, we've got a young baby, wouldn't we want to have one of those bad boys out in France? I'm looking at JJ like, oh, how is your daughter?
Cheers, mate.
Sure,
she didn't give birth in France, though.
No.
I know, I meant like giving birth in France.
Although the healthcare system,
Yeah, the healthcare system is it's the language bar, isn't it? Imagine you.
And what's your French like now?
Mine? Yeah. I wouldn't say I'm through it, but I'm not far off. Yeah.
Here we go. Oh, for the podcast, give them some French.
Je pense que Zach, honnêtement, tu peux parler maintenant?
Oui.
Oh, that one. Oui.
Non, mais c'est vrai, la première fois qu'on avait parlé, tu parlais rien.
Oui.
Maintenant, tu comprends tout.
Ah, putain. Okay. Ah, putain. Aussi,
Hey, sorry, we've
aussi
got
pour
Basil
JJ.
Fawlty over here.
Ah,
giving us-
putain. Aussi pour JJ, s'il vous plaît.
JJ, are you taking lessons?
Huh?
Are you taking lessons?
No, that was English.
I don't understand, Max.
Are you taking French lessons?
Sorry. Oh, French lessons?
No.
No.
No. D'accord.
Are the meetings done in French?
The meetings, you don't really need to listen that much. Like, yeah, it's in French, sometimes a bit of English. You don't.
Is the coach French?
What do you mean you don't?
So sorry, just for everyone watching and listening, you're at Biarritz now.
So I'm at Biarritz.
What a beautiful place.
Beautiful part of the world.
Stunning.
Lovely. 2 minutes walk from the beach. Food exquisite. People great. Love
All
it.
I think of is it Stefan Armitage that kicked the
Yeah,
top, was it the kick to win?
In the Bayonne Biarritz playoff game, I think it was.
It is a massive rivalry, isn't it? Biarritz, Bayonne.
Yeah.
I think you understand they're literally like right next to each other as well. So if you don't understand,
across the river.
This is across the river. So it's like that game. I remember watching it, and yeah, it was carnage.
And how have you found it? How have you found moving to France?
How it all happened for me, it was quite a complex move. Like my daughter was just born, and then I was told a week later, right, you're going to have to up and move to Biarritz for X, Y, and Z reasons. So it was a bit hectic to start with. I was like, all right, you know what, new challenge, Biarritz. We'll give it a go and see what happens. It's not been quite what I thought it would be. The club as a whole, but I'm still glad that I took that leap and have given it a go. It probably hasn't worked out in the way that I wanted. Like it's very different to the Premiership in terms of their focus is very much more on like passion and energy and things like that. Whereas what I'm used to is a lot more detail and look at this and do you know what I mean? Like
100%. There's a back and it's detailed. Whereas if you're a forward there, just put your head in.
It's just like go, and I'm like, for me that's hard because I'm very much a fan of the detail side of things. Like I worked with some of the greatest creative players.
Are you able to have an influence on that?
I try to, and I feel my voice does get listened to an extent, but it depends who's coaching at the time, and it depends on the players that you're working on. Like you've got to remember, an English guy going into a French team, you have to build those relationships. I think in any team you have to build relationships, but especially for an English guy coming over into a French team, for me that was the most important thing. So to start with, it was more just trying to get on side with the boys, and the boys are great. Like I feel like very at home there. Like they've been really good to me and a lot of my friends as well. So that side of it's been great. And yes, towards the mid to the end of the season, when Simon Maddox came in as well, like I felt like I was able to give a bit more and help lead a little bit more.
Yeah, because he's a good coach, isn't he?
I really like Simon. I think he was brilliant. Like coming in with where we were at as a team, like he did the best job he could.
If you need an old shower horse.
You're selling your words.
I'm saying that, old shower horse. Like, what's interesting, when he walked in earlier, because everyone slags him off for having skinny arms, right, and not a big rig. His arms are bigger than mine. But you're built the same as me, although...
We do play the game quite similar.
Yeah, I just hang off people's shirts, but I've literally got like salmon shoulders. Do you know what I mean? They call me the Coke bottle.
He's got a set of shoulders on it,
and he's got a little bit more power. But I don't think we're far off built the same. Should we get naked?
Have a wrestle.
I didn't realise how you'd work your way into
but
that.
no,
Well done,
it's
though.
not-
We didn't say we'd do it, but I just didn't realise
But
how you'd do it.
I like looking at Mean Junior because I think how are we?
Like
how
a
are we
young Ryan Wilson.
Because like there's been some cringy stuff on TNT recently of them trying to talk through how you carry the ball. Oh Jesus, like, he's back. But that is how you play the game. It's not like full throttle.
I can't do it.
It's
I'm not like
step
built
back.
like this guy. Like
elusiveness.
yeah, like if I can't run into people like that, so I've got to try to work other ways around it. And I guess that's why I did well in the top 14 because they don't have anyone. No one plays like that there.
And also, you got 6, 7, 8 on your back. They go, oh, he's going to bowl into us. Whereas suddenly
had
when
the
you
odd
stop
button,
and jump backwards and run round people, they're like, what's going on there?
Yeah, they didn't quite get it. Like the first year, like I think that's why they're like, because there's no player in the league that probably did that like I did the first year. So it was like, oh, let's. And then the second year was obviously a lot tougher for us because obviously people kind of recognised who I was then and started trying to smash me and do that.
Still
little
got paid the same though.
Yeah, obviously your mate Tom Whitford sorted me out there.
Hey, Tommy boy, what a legend.
A hell of a bloke. Now he's at Racing, obviously living the life. And I'm surprised you haven't hit him up yet for a little gig
I've
at
tried,
Racing.
but I'm not that bad that none of my contacts have come in. Yeah, we'll see how we go.
Would you be heading back to France at some point, do you think?
Hey, next season.
Good question.
Haystow's left you.
Yes, I know. Bless him.
Bless him.
He was, yeah.
Well, I mean, they're in the URC final this weekend.
Yeah, obviously Adam, for example, like he was at Bath with us at the same time. Hell of a bloke. I lived with him for a year, so yeah, I got on really well with Ads. And he'd be a big loss at Gloucester because the lads loved him. Like he was one of the boys. Like everyone fucking loved him. So he'll be massively a big loss for us. I think Charis, obviously, him and Charis are like that. So I'll be interested to see how Charis copes this year without him. But with France, like, yeah, we'll go back. It's just a matter of when. Like, for me, I loved my time there. I think it was definitely something that I will be going back to France at some point in my career.
Are you getting tapped up by Montpellier all the time? Surely they're like, come on, mate.
No, I mean,
head on home.
I think
Who have they just signed?
Big Billy.
They just signed Big Billy, yeah.
I'm strong believe you don't go back to what you've done. Like, my memories there were amazing. Like, I made a great group of friends there. I wouldn't want to go back and ruin that. Do you know what I mean? And that friendship group we had are not there anymore. So for me, it would be a new challenge, whether that is. Like, I would take up a new challenge.
It's weird seeing that after you've left. I'm not going to say it's all down to that, but you've seen how they've kind of not had as good of a time.
Yeah, it's quite sad to see because it's such a club with great history. And like 2 years ago, we won the league, and now they were fighting the other day for the relegation, but only just got through. So they're a great team, and they will come out. I think they just need to get the coaching staff right. I think they've just sacked the coaches again. So I think the next person that goes in there will be very French.
JJ, just want to touch on your brother, mate. How good? Like, Quinn's, he's carving up. Where's wisdom coming from you? Are you the one that's coaching him through it?
Nah.
Did you always see him as coming through as good as he was? Like,
Yeah.
He was always a
He was literally,
talent.
yeah. He literally runs like me, and his mannerisms on the pitch are like me. Like, I would watch a game and be like, that just looks like I'm watching myself. So he is a talent. I think he'll go well. I think he's been unlucky this year with injuries.
We were buzzing about him at the beginning of the season.
He played Racing away, and I think he got like most defenders beaten in the whole round of Europe. So like pretty good stat. And then I think he got a niggle on his foot, like a Liz Frank injury, which was misdiagnosed. So he played on it for a couple months, which knocked him back a little bit. Like, he didn't play great because he couldn't run above 80%. So that was a bit frustrating for him. I think, he's trying to play his best, and obviously England coaches are probably having a little look at him. And if he's not playing that well because he's got an injury, that affects you. Like, people see you playing poorly, it sticks. So I think next year, he only just moved to Quins. He's had a tough year.
Well, he has. I think the first 3 months of his career was big.
Yeah.
Enough.
But I think next year, hopefully, he injury free and can really attack it.
Do you talk to him about the game tactically?
Not so much. The door's open there if he wants, but I'm sort of letting him lead that. And if he wants to reach out with those things, but like, he doesn't need to. Like, he's got Marcus, he's got great players that he's playing with. Like, and I'm like just happy to see him go.
Barbaros together.
That'd be cool.
That would be cool.
We better hurry up because I ain't got much longer.
I'll have a word with Steve Barrett for you.
Just a quick word on that. I think probably as we've got a bunch of elite athletes here.
Thank you.
How often are you guys playing with those injuries? And if you're a back, and he knows he's going to be watched by, Steve Borthwick or whoever, why would you bother to go out there knowing you can only give 80%?
I think when you're young, you basically what a physio says is sort of gospel, like because you don't know any better. So if someone's telling you, it's true, it's not that bad. Like I don't really know what's going on if I've tweaked something. Like that's not my profession. I trust this person to tell me what's right or wrong. Sometimes they can't get it right all the time. And as a young player, you're sort of told to listen to the coaches, listen to the staff, and you crack on. I think it's when you get older and you understand your body a little bit more, you understand how it works and how people can make mistakes, you get a better understanding of, no, actually, this isn't right. I think we've missed something here. Do you know what I mean? I think when you're young, I think it's a tough...
I'm old school. I was always of the fact when physios are like, that's not quite right, I would just train through it. Because physios would wrap you in cotton wool and I'd just try and fight my way through it.
Yeah, but is it different for a
back? I'm the opposite of that.
But you got to agree with Jay with the way the lack of autonomy of young athletes.
Yeah, we had a completely different, you were on the way fast.
Yeah.
You're white back.
And I was just
get through it.
Like you said.
Just slog it on.
I'm going to win. As long as I can hang off of someone's shirt and be like, fuck you.
You were ignoring Mordorian.
That's why the fitness is like that. Someone was like, "Why are your fingers so fucked?" And I was like, "I think it's from hanging off people's shirts." You know,
Yeah, just get them caught
you
in
couldn't
there.
punch anyone, so you were just like, "I'm just gonna grip them." I think that's where it came from. Look at the nick of those.
They're lovely.
But is it then different
Yeah,
for
horrible.
forwards and backs there? Because if you're not hitting those, you can go in with the dog. Whereas
That's where I don't see. That's where I don't. Agree
I think it's
with him,
subjective.
because
It's subjective.
Backs, forwards, just you're like in the middle.
You're never.
You get someone that's like super slow twitch that could have like a slight
It's so true.
calf tear or something and
weird,
could play
yeah.
a game. And then you got other boys, if they've got like the tiniest thing, they can't play because it'll go. You know, the rugby is crazy. Like the different kind of athletes that you can put on a field is you've got someone that is the complete opposite of someone else that offer completely different things that can still play the same sport.
That's spot on.
Who are you most buzzing about playing this weekend? With this weekend? Because you would have made your debut for England around the time Gal Ficku made his debut in 2013.
Yeah, it was 2012.
Yeah, he made his debut in 2013.
when was your debut?
In 2013 against Gal Ficku.
You played centre?
I played centre. I played 12. No, but my first start, I think, Gal Ficku played. But I'm just thinking he's pretty fucking handy.
Yeah,
But out of all the guys, like we spoke to Scott earlier,
Yeah.
Sam Whitelock.
Yeah, I think that's for me. I think Sam, I asked him if it's his last game and he's still not said yes. So I don't know what he's thinking about doing wise, but for me it's like
the yen.
watching him growing up, obviously with a New Zealand background and whatever. I remember watching him growing up, and to be able to even like scrummage behind him this weekend.
Oh, what a nose!
Yeah,
That's what I want to hear.
Just to
mate.
nestle my nose into it.
that's my nose. But no, I mean it's gonna be. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool to be able to share the pitch with someone like Sam. It's that's what I'm most looking
Your
forward
old
to.
man must be
He
from.
texted me today. Said, "Have you met Sam yet?" That I'm playing with him.
Can I get your autograph?
That's so good.
But yeah, your
That
old
was
man
pretty
must
cool
be
that I
awesome.
was,
That's not a bad one.
Yeah.
In terms of the backs.
I can't single out, like I would say Sam Whitelock, like the amount of caps he's got for New Zealand, what he's done for the sport, he's a great player. But for me, I'm just genuinely buzzing to play with so many really talented players. Like you've got some young New Zealander boys that are coming through, you've got the older boys that have been there and done it, that I've had a great time with before. Like just the whole spread is just, for me, I'm actually buzzing to be part of this.
you could-
I don't want to ruin this for the boys, but I don't know if you know this already. You all know this. But when they give you a jersey on Saturday or Friday night, your name is put into the number on the back of your shirt, so your name becomes part of the Barbars.
Your name's in there.
Well, it's not because we never
I've
fucking
never
played.
played.
But you did
Wait,
all
you just did the
action.
week?
You were captain.
You did the
I
whole
did.
week and then didn't play?
Yeah.
Wait, what happened again?
I did the most important bit. Dwayne Vermeulen got COVID. We tried to cover it up and phoned Niko. He was playing at Montpellier and I was like, Nix, you're good. Like, they get you over. Okay, babies, I can get there. No time. He flew from France. He was on the train with my sisters from Farnham because he got the train. And the game got cancelled, and everyone forgot to phone him to tell him the game was cancelled.
Oh, no.
And he was on the train.
Was that playing England?
We were playing Summer,
Oh.
and that was when who's your man at Toulouse? I don't know. The main man at Toulouse. For fucking hell.
For who?
Dupont.
No. The coach that
Jerome.
we spoke.
Moda.
No, the second rower.
Joe Takori.
Joe Takori. I think it was Joe Takori. They led the
Yes.
Summer and Haka
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
out on the pitch because the women were playing after, and we were like disgraced. But it wasn't our fault. Someone got COVID.
Yeah.
And it was a time where you were allowed out. You were allowed to go on the piss, and we made
That's
up for it.
sad.
JJ,
I got the most important bit done.
you were
7
captain,
days of piss.
and you were captain. We always remind people of that.
Led them into a hole.
JJ, the last time you played Sam Whitelock, World Cup semi-final, no?
Yeah, must have. Yeah.
Just feel like, in case you run out of conversation.
Yeah,
just
true.
Probably good conversation starter.
You know,
So should we
I've
look at
played
that
New
game?
Zealand twice and beaten them twice.
You've never lost to New Zealand.
No,
How good is
but
that?
I was on the bench both times.
Doesn't matter.
So?
Doesn't matter. They need to add it. We'll cut that bit.
Cut.
Yeah, but
Fuck,
Yeah.
shit, bastards.
what a fitting segment to go into, because obviously we will forget this weekend, but England going into New Zealand. What do you reckon? What do you boys think? How
You go.
Yes.
No,
Interesting.
I think obviously Razer taking over Scott Rumson for the All Blacks will. I think the way obviously he was my Barbars coach previously, the way he can motivate players is very, it's very impressive. So I think it'll be a tough one, but I'd be interested to see how England go. I think obviously they've got Japan first, which obviously Eddie's coming back against his mate Steve, so that'll be interesting to watch.
Looking a bit lightweight in the back row, though.
Well, yeah, we don't know about lightweight because he is lightweight. But
Well,
yeah,
in terms of skill set,
what do you reckon? It's a big old
Mate,
test.
it's tough. It's going to be so tough. You don't know what England team's going to rock up. That's the problem
so
at the
true.
minute. You have one England team that plays really, really well, and then the other which you're just like, what's going on? Like the Six Nations was a great example of that. Like the first half was terrible, the end was
good,
much better. So it depends. But we do. What I would say in the England team right now is there was a lot of players individually in that team that are playing very well at their club and performing at the top of their level. And I think that is a very important thing for an England team. You've got to have players that are in form, and we do have that at the minute. So I'm hopeful, and maybe that there will be a shock. Maybe that they will turn up and
Take
play
you
well.
out of the picture.
Yeah.
Because I put you in there.
Yeah.
England's best centre partnership at the moment.
Who would you pick?
Ollie Lawrence, I think, could be like unbelievable.
He's naughty, isn't he?
Yeah. And Slady, I think.
So that's it. That is the
At
partnership.
the minute, I would say that's the best pairing.
Do you think the England team that's been picked is the one? lineup was
Back line.
He's been on the piss.
Oh, you might not remember, yeah.
I think so. Go on,
No,
go.
it's good.
Furbank. Who are the wingers?
Freeman, Faye,
Freeman.
Bosa.
How good's Freeman?
Yeah.
Very good.
Don't
Faye,
like-
Bosa.
He's one of those players. I'm just like,
Mate, he's big though.
he's big. He just does
Big,
a lot of good
fast,
things, and you're like,
strong,
how's he
yeah.
done that? Like,
He's
yeah,
class.
he's a great player.
Do you wear would you ever wear black boots like Slight Home?
No,
No, is he?
Yeah, you're too right.
no,
Yeah.
I
See what
couldn't
mean?
wear black
It's just
boots.
not right. As a winger,
It
it's
just
not right.
it feels wrong. I played awful. Feels wrong.
Yeah, doesn't it?
Look good, play good. I say.
Yeah,
like,
you look like a referee. Gary.
Yeah,
Like,
it's so
listen,
old
he's-
school.
He's good.
He's very good at it.
Imagine how good you'd be if you had white boots on.
Unbelievable. Someone send the man some white boots because the black boots are humble, but he's humble.
That's what Ted Hill was saying, like humble burn, humble bump, and then he's gone. So.
Imagine, like, if someone sent you black boots, you just throw them straight in the bin.
I just lose a bit of respect for people.
Yeah.
Unless you're a forward.
Especially,
Yeah,
unless
but
you're type
that's
5.
Yeah.
Or like Battler 7.
Yeah, I wouldn't be wearing black boots, mate.
No, you can't wear black boots.
You
though.
realise what?
So
Like, I could see him down with a pair of Copas. And when he comes out, like, fuck
Nice pair of World Cup.
So-
last few ones, Zach, you talking about the Barbarians, you with Scott Robertson, with Razer and ROG as well, right?
Yes.
What's he like?
Them two together are world class. Like, I remember the Frenchies came in and Roger's like, I'm not speaking French at all this week. They're just going to speak English. So he just spoke English. And the Frenchies probably didn't have a Scooby what was going on. But they're like, well, he just refused to speak French. So it was quite good. It was like, that's the culture of the bar. I was like, you guys are speaking English this week. So the Frenchies like trying to speak English. It was great. I mean, but
Were you
what?
in Monaco for a bit of that?
No.
That wasn't the
That's
Monaco.
the year
No,
before.
yeah.
Before we
No.
had Will Skelton, wasn't it?
No, we just, them two together obviously worked really well. Razor's a great, like, it's a bit like Todd Blacker and Tab situation. Like, Razor's like the player manager, the one that gets you pumped up, does the motivating, gets his boots on when he has to, and then obviously then you got Rog, just a very intelligent coach. So that week was probably one of the best weeks I've ever been a part of, yeah.
Fuck, how good. Do you think Scott Robertson will? I mean, not that they ever need revolutionising, and let's not forget they were kind of moments away from winning the World Cup, but was sort of downplayed somewhat as a team compared to their previous editions. Do you think he's going to be bringing back that kind of emblematic?
Oh, definitely. I think, like, if you talk about the All Blacks to him, he's so passionate about it, and I think he'll refer that on to his players. And I'm speaking to a few of the boys now. Like, you ask anyone that's been coached by him, they speak nothing but high words about him. Regard. So, I think he's going to be getting firing, and I think it's going to be, especially in New Zealand, he's going to want to start off with some wins, because obviously there's a lot of politics going on in New Zealand rugby as well at the moment, and they want to silence that out.
Nice. Just a quick word, Barbars. What is playing for the Barbars for you?
I think it brings the enjoyment back to rugby, doesn't it? It's like you play your whole career with stress and anxiety, or like, I need to perform this week, or England's watching, or whatever. Whereas the Barbars just like, you don't care. Like, you make a mistake, you don't care, you're not worried about it. Like, that's what Robbie said to us today. It's like, don't be worried about making mistakes, don't hold back, just fucking go for it. That, like, you're in this team to go for it, just go and enjoy it. And I think, like, it brings that kind of atmosphere back when you're a little kid playing. Do you know what I mean? Like, it brings back the love of the game for me.
JJ, for you?
Exactly the same. It's the only game from my whole professional career where you can truly enjoy the game. Like, the amount of times I've got captains and coaches saying, just go out and enjoy it. It's like, well, it's not as simple as that. I've got a contract, so I play shy. I'm not getting another contract. Like, this is the only game you can truly go out there and just be smiling and just, fucking it. Oh, I made a mistake. Oh, well, next job. Like, it's just going to be fucking, I'm well looking forward to it.
I'll tell you another thing, it's the only game you'll ever go into with a proper 4-day hangover.
Can't wait.
Good luck. Good luck with that.
I know that would be the perfect normally to end out, but I did just want to touch, bearing in mind both of the boys have played abroad, and are playing abroad. England's overseas rule, what do we think?
Well, I mean, obviously when I was out there, it was
shit.
Shit rule.
It's a great rule.
What's your home? So it was.
No, but it's funny. Like, I spoke to Dave Rubens about it. He's like, I play so much better rugby in France because I'm not worried about England. That's what he said to me. It's like,
you said it.
I said it. Yeah, don't worry about it. So, I think it's got to stay in place for the Premiership to be sustainable. That rule's got to stay in place. There's no doubt about that. Yeah.
And then you agree? Do you think because
what about Cats?
I get what he says, because obviously you were over there and you were doing so well, and then you came back for England.
Yeah.
But there must be a part of you goes, fuck, what are England doing?
From a player's point of view, it's shit, isn't it? Yeah. So, like, for Zach, for example, being the best player in France, he wants to stay there and play for England as well. Like, that's the dream. But from an organisation, from an RFU point of view, I can understand why they want to keep their best players in the country. Yeah. So it's one of them for me. Like, if the RFU can compensate, obviously the wage is a lot higher in France. If the RFU can compensate that a little bit, like, you'll play for England, we'll top you up a little bit. I don't know the right answer, but
something's going to have to change. I don't know what it is.
It's a compromise.
Yeah, so don't give them 25 grand a game. Well, you can't get me around it.
Don't give them 25 grand.
So rather than 25 grand a game, you play in France, we'll knock it down to 15.
Sadly, that is all the time we've got left for this week. A huge thanks to JJ and to Zach, to Max and to Ryan as well, and to all of you for listening and watching. Do subscribe, do like, head to our YouTube channel at Maul or Nothing. We've got plenty of fun bonus bits coming up over the summer. But we will see you all next week.
Maul or Nothing.